The dark spirit of the nights returns with all its curse. Ben will contact you. Are you ready? Stay tuned. With every step, the darkness gets closer. You feel the curse, right? And this is just the beginning.
Zach stood in front of an old video game store in an abandoned corner of town. The old yellowed game boxes placed in the store's window seemed to have emerged from the shadows of the past. The light seeping through the dirty glass deepened the gloomy atmosphere. As uneasy as he was, his curiosity was stronger. His eyes fell on the Majora's Mask game cartridge lying almost forgotten behind the glass. There was something Zach was looking for: to get lost in old games, to taste nostalgia. But that day there was a mystery that intoxicated the whole town. This game cartridge was part of a legend that everyone in the town was afraid of, whispered in abandoned houses. It told a terrible story that everyone kept talking about, that those who did not dare to play, and who accidentally tried, never came back properly. The owner of the shop, the old man's eyes trembled, and he quickly averted his eyes, silently approached Zach and lifted the cartridge. "That game eats your soul," he said in a deep whisper, his voice strangely distorted. "If you buy this, you will be a part of it." Zach acted on his inner instinct. The old man's fears appealed to him. "Everything has a price," he said to himself, and he took the cartridge from his pocket and put it through the cash register. On his way home, Zach's excitement was growing. The moment he put the cartridge into the console, he had a feeling that everything would be abnormal, but he tried to push that thought out of his mind. The game opened. On the screen, Link was walking towards the town. The town, as usual, was deserted, but something was missing. Everything was empty, like death. Zach took a deep breath and continued to move forward. The game was really starting to get strange. Suddenly, a figure appeared behind Link on the screen. His eyes examined the screen more carefully. The figure was a child, but his face was distorted, his eyes narrowed and expressionless. The child was making direct eye contact with Zach's eyes on the other side of the screen. The message that appeared on the screen was, "Follow me." Zach's heart began to beat rapidly. This had to be just a game glitch. But a voice inside him told him that something was wrong. Still, he wanted to continue until the game was over. After a while, the screen went black and the computer's fans suddenly sped up. Before Zach knew what was happening, a figure appeared on the screen. Suddenly, the computer froze completely. When Zach reached for the mouse, the same text appeared on the screen again: "I will always be here." The fear inside him was growing, but the game was still going on. The game was somehow drawing him in. Zach tried to shut down his computer, but the screen wouldn't turn off with a single touch. Everything was frozen, as if time had stopped. Zach continued to play, but he began to realize that everything had changed in a terrible way. As Link tried to enter the town was changing. In a truly frightening way, everything was different. The town felt like a city of the dead. Behind him, the figure of a child appeared once more, but this time it was much darker and more frightening. This strange figure seemed to be something more than just a screen. It seemed to be a threat inside Zach, reading his every move and every thought. Suddenly, another text appeared in the corner of the screen: "I will always be with you." He felt a tremor. The entire room went dark. Everything inside Zach was shaking. The air felt heavy. There was a sound in the room, as if he could hear not only his own breathing, but the breathing of a dark presence. Something was following him, coming closer with every movement. Slowly, he felt the coldness behind his shoulders. There was a figure behind him, but he did not want to see what it was. He tried to shut down his computer, shaking with fear, but the screen would not go away. Only that dark figure, that scary child's eyes, did not leave the screen. Zach decided to walk towards the town. Everything was strange, both in the school and outside. Everyone's gaze was blank. No one looked at him with normal eyes. In the school, the students looked at him blankly. The teachers had a blank stare. People were silent. No one was talking. And every corner, every street, every strange look, he was trying to understand it. Link entering the town. the town going dead silent. Everything had become so familiar yet so scary. Zach sat on a bench. He took a deep breath. The grass behind him moved. He realized someone was looking. When he slowly turned his head, he saw the same boy's figure again. His face was taking a step closer to him. His eyes were blank, but somehow it was as if he was watching him. Nothing was that real, yet it was just as scary. Zach quickly got up and started walking towards his house. But with each step he took, the town got darker, and everywhere got colder. Everything he saw on the screen had become the real world. He was alone in the house, but there was something. He couldn't see it, but he could feel it. In the back room there was a figure. When he entered the room and opened it, there was writing on the wall, "I will always watch over you." He turned slowly but saw no one, but the voices came from every corner, every dark spot, every room. Zach knew now that escape was impossible. The game and the real world had merged. The town was gone. His mind was with him now. Ben was always behind him. He was everywhere. And he was lost. The fear in his eyes deepened. Everything was lost. And when Zach woke up one morning, the screen went black once more. In that moment, he realized that everything had come to an end, because Ben had always been there. He had always been there. And now he was a part of Ben.